Okay, so technology has not completely defeated us. Facebook Live wasn't a success. Zoom has solved the problem. So I'm pleased to welcome Sarah Dew. I'm going to let Sarah introduce what she does more, just to sort of understand the context and why I think having Sarah on would be so brilliant. Journey Through the Guilt Trip was set up to help people who are feeling overwhelmed. And one of the biggest problems with overwhelm is just feeling like too much on your plate. And from my previous videos, you will have seen that I'm all about prioritizing and rescheduling things. And when I met Sarah and she explained what she did, I was very much like, where have you been all my life? So,
Oh, bless you.
so I wanted to share Sarah's wisdom and expertise with the group. But Sarah, if you could just explain, what do you do? What is your work?
Okay, hi everybody. I'm Sarah. I am a writer. I've got a blog called A Simple and Contented Life, and its focus is very much on helping overwhelmed women want to take back control and slow things down, make life simpler, and create a life that they love. And basically being able to eliminate the unessential so that they have more time to spend it with the people that they love and doing things that they want to do. So yeah, so that's pretty much what I do, really.
Sounds like bliss. Just to understand sort of what drove you to that, what made you look for a simpler way?
Really, the backstory to it is that in April 2016, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and it completely kind of turned our world upside down, and we didn't know what the outcome was going to be. And it really just, unfortunately, everything was turned out good, and I kind of beat the battle, really. And I'm now in remission, but it really changed my perspective of life and my outlook on life, and just made me realize that life's precious. It goes way too fast and you never really know what's going to happen, and just forced me to just reevaluate everything, really, and just take stock of what was happening and how I wanted to live my life, and made me realize that we have control over how happy we are, and we don't have to do half the things that we think we should be doing, and a lot of it is unessential and overwhelms us. And actually, when we take some time to look at how we're leading our lives and how we spend our time, there are things we can do to slow things down and make life less stressful, and allow into our lives the things that we want to do, and actually give our time and energy to the things that are driving us and will make us happy. So, and because of that, just wanted to help other people do the same, because I know that we can very much feel like we're isolated and on our own, but really the reality is everybody's going through the same struggles. We have the same life struggles, the same confidence struggles, the same parenting struggles, and we're not on our own, and we just don't talk about it enough as much as we should do. And I think the more we talk about it and the more we help and support one another in slowing things down and taking back control, the happier and much easier life becomes.
Oh, absolutely. And it's I'm glad to see that your prognosis is really good.
Thank you.
But it's really interesting how it does sometimes take that moment where all of our choices are kind of stopped.
Absolutely.
Okay, now I haven't got time to worry about what other people think or what I should be doing. It has what I have to do, because time now feels finite, however long that is.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, when we spoke at the initial meetings, I think I got diagnosed August 2016, so
right.
Similar times, and I do think that this group is the same for me as your blog is for you. It's that I just want to help as many people as possible, because we've had this wake up call.
Yes.
We haven't got time to muck around and do things for other people that don't mean anything to us.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly it, isn't it? As it just makes you really evaluate what you're doing, and you realize that all the things you thought were important actually aren't. and all the pressures of trying to be everywhere and do everything for everyone and make life perfect and be the perfect wife, be the perfect mum, be the perfect friend, is just, that's not what it's about. And we're all led to believe that defining success and being happy is by having the biggest house and the newest car and all the money in the bank, but it's not that at all. It's about being around people that you love and how you spend that time with them. That's what matters. And when you look at that and realize that, you realize that you're a lot far richer, more richer than you think you are, than you were, and you don't need half the things that you think you do, and it's all status symbols, and they don't matter. They're not what's matter and what's important. That's not what we're here for. It's here to create relationships with people and be with one another and spend time with people. And my whole experience with the breast cancer just really showed me that actually all those things that I thought was important wasn't, and it just it causes you to really take stock. And it doesn't necessarily, the sad thing is it took that for me to have the wake up call, but now, like you say, it's being able to be in a position to help other people and make something from it and take something from it. But it doesn't have to take a diagnosis of breast cancer to make you and give you the opportunity to make a change for the better. We've all got that in us and we've all got the power to do it. It's just being brave enough to take those baby steps and make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what you said previously about not feeling on your own when you're doing it, and that how you feel, how many other people feel exactly the same, can just really help you just get a handle on the overwhelm. Because sometimes that feeling of I have to do everything, I'm on my own, I can't rely on anyone else, or no one else is around, or everyone else is too busy, that really puts us in a really isolated place. And I think when you look at the increase on Facebook groups and social media of people putting their hand up going, I feel like this, does anyone agree with it? And the support they get and the amount, I feel exactly the same. So the format that I use for these Facebook Lives is to give a really quick and easy kind of 3 steps to making things a little bit easier. So what would you say are the main 3 tips that you could give the group to understand how to simplify their life?
Okay, first one really I think is eliminating the unessential, is taking stock of everything and what you're doing and how you're spending your time. So getting rid of the mental and the physical clutter, because when we talk about simplifying and making life easier and simplifying things, the first thing people think of is the minimalism and decluttering and getting rid of and purging all of your stuff. But it's not just the purging of stuff, it's the mental clutter as well that's there, and that's what we need to reduce first before we start doing anything else. So it's like the best way of eliminating all the unessential there is to just mind dump everything. So that works amazingly well, is get a piece of paper and a pen and just write down everything on that piece of paper that comes to mind, that's bugging you, annoying you, frustrating you, overwhelms you, what areas of your life you're struggling with that you want to improve. And then go through that list and just highlight all the things that you've got absolutely no control over, and then recognize that you've got no control over that, and just find a different mindset of accepting that that's the situation and find a way to deal with it. And then eliminate all of the things that you think you should be doing that you've got on that to-do list, because 9 times out of 10, half the things that we have on our to-do lists are things that we've put on there that we think we should be doing, but we don't necessarily have to do them. They're not important, and they're things that go back to that trying to be perfect in everything, and they're not necessary. So decluttering your to-do list and eliminating distractions as well. So switching off notifications, unsubscribing from emails and all the noise that's around you all the time that we don't need to pay attention to. So is eliminating the unessential really, and the mental clutter side as well. It's not just all the things that we think we should be doing, but it's also the mental clutter of things that have happened in the past. So things that we're constantly thinking about that have happened, but we can't change that because it's happened, and just accepting that and looking at what the lessons are from it and moving on from it. So it's allowing ourselves and giving ourselves permission to let go and just recognize that's been and done, and move on. So the first one, eliminate the unessential.
And so just just as a, to make sure people are really clear, how do you define essential? Because we can think of it's essential as I need to do it, but it's amazing how many things that aren't really essential start being framed like I need to get this done. So what definition do you give for essential?
Essential, I think, is the really, really important things. It's things like, we need to eat, we've got to do our work to earn our money to pay our bills. But the things that are alongside that of, oh, I must, I need to tidy this room, or I need to declutter this room, or I must redecorate that bedroom. And it's all those extra things that are hanging over us that are not essential and take up our time. So I think it's kind of bringing on this to the next point of being mindful of what you say yes to. Is it going to serve us in what we want to achieve in our life? And is it going to serve us by taking it on? Is it going to make anything better? Is it going to improve things? And if it doesn't, then it's not essential. It's not something that we need to be doing. So is it fulfilling what we want to achieve out of our life by taking it on? Does it really matter? Is it simplifying life, or is it complicating life? And if it's complicating life, then it's not essential.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
It can be so difficult, can't it, to really drill down on what's important, and as you say, what your journey to this point actually made it, almost forced you to go through the process. What's a simple technique for just getting through the clutter in your head of, what will make me happy? Because it sort of feels like, particularly that second point around being mindful of what you're doing, there's still a risk that you could find the idea of happiness or joy from somebody else's definition, your own. So how would you, is there a way of framing it so that it's coming from you rather than external?
Yeah, definitely. I think you need to actually take the time before you do anything to sit down and think what being happy means to you, and what having a simpler life means to you as well. And rather than taking direction from other people and trying to fit your life into somebody else's expectations, is to actually sit there and think, well, what does happiness mean to me? It's all very well saying I want to be happy, but what do you mean by that? What is it in your life that makes you happy? Is it, and makes things simpler? Is it not staying later at work and actually coming home? Is it freeing up your weekends so that you have time to spend with family? Is it that never-ending list of books that you want to read, actually making the time to sit down and find the time to work your way through that list? It's recognizing what makes you happy, not what is you think you need to do to make somebody else happy. Because if you're working and spending your time every day to do something to suit the needs of other people, then that's not going to make you happy, because you're not being true to yourself and you're not fulfilling what you feel is your destiny, or what is exciting you, or what motivates you. If you're not channeling your time and energy into those things, then you're not going to be happy. So the first thing you need to do really is to sit down and actually ask yourself what it is that makes you happy. And if you're struggling to do that, journaling is a brilliant way to do that, is to actually just free write whatever comes to your mind and start writing it down. And over 2 or 3 weeks, you can look back and you can start to read through what you've written, and you'll start to see patterns of things, that the same sort of words, the same sort of phrases, the same areas of your life that you're talking about in your journaling. And that will give you indicators of things, that areas that you're not happy in, or areas that do make you happy. And you can start focusing your time and energy on those. And another way as well is like creating vision boards. So finding pictures of things that excite you or interest you, or things that you want to do, and putting that out there onto a piece of paper or card, and having that in front of you. And that gives you the direction so that you're focusing your energy towards genuinely what makes you happy.
Yeah. No, I think that's really, really solid advice. And the two go together, don't they? Because the idea of essential will be framed by what makes you happy.
Definitely.
To kind of colour each other. What would the third tip be?
So third tip then is doing things that make life easier. So quite often the temptation is, oh, I'll do it later, or oh, I'm not right now, or I haven't got time. And there's always a way that you can always choose the less stress option in something. I was saying about life is as complicated as we make it, and we can choose to make it more complicated, or we can choose to make it less stressful, and that's all based on the decisions we make at the time. And so the third tip is doing things that make life easier, are things like, especially around the home, of clearing as you go and not leaving a pile of stuff so that you look at it later and just think, oh, I still haven't done that. And it's just those little things that overwhelm. So clearing the counters and clearing the kitchen up at the end of the night, and loading the dishwasher so you can come down so you can come down at the end of in the morning. It's my little reminder. Quacking at me. Oh, that's what I've done. Oh, but anyway, yeah, so it's clearing things away at the end of the night so you can come down in the morning and start afresh and not feel stressed that you didn't do it, and that you've got to give your attention to that before you can do anything else. Getting ready for things for the night before, so taking time to think about what's going on the following day, and what do you need to put out that you can get out ready or prepare for, so that you're not overwhelming yourself. And you know, you don't have to say yes to everything, as well, as there's always this expectation of, because you want to be the best for everything and everybody, of taking on too much, and knowing what your boundaries and your limits are. So if it's going to make life more complicated by saying yes to something, then don't. It's perfectly fine to say no to something. You don't have to say yes to everything. And if you say no now, it doesn't necessarily mean it's no forever, just not right now. Now isn't the right time. And saying yes to the right things, so the things that are in line with what makes you happy and what you want to achieve from your life, rather than the yes to things because people are expecting you to do something. So it's just doing things that make life easier.
Yeah. And looking at that to-do list that you mentioned previously,
how
many of those things are those kind of automatic yeses to things that actually, when you start stripping it back, shouldn't have been a yes.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like, sorry, I was going to say, it's like taking on the extra commitment at work, isn't it? Or the extracurricular activity in the playground, and all those things that you don't really need to do. You might want to do them, or because you feel obliged to and you want to help out. But if it's going to take away your time from being able to do something else that is more focused with what you want to achieve out of your own life, then it's going to be a distraction, and it's going to overwhelm, and it's going to complicate life. So by not doing that, and particularly with your to-do list as well, it's back to those things that you think you should be doing. And when you really go through your list, you've got things that you must do, things you could do, and things that really aren't essential. And if you look at them, they've probably been sitting on there for 3 or 4 months, and you think, oh, I'll do that next week, I'll do that next week, I'll do that next week. And if you're constantly thinking that about it, that's an indicator that it's an unessential, that you can just take it off your list, because if you haven't done it now, then in that space of time it probably doesn't need doing. Yeah. So you just relieve yourself of that pressure by putting a big red line through it, and having the pleasure of letting it go. And if it comes back in 6 months' time, then yeah, you need to do it. But in the meantime, let it go and just eliminate it.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, when I think of some of the to-do lists I've had in the past, there are definitely things on there that just get written across to the new list every single time.
Yep.
It does take months before you just have that reality check of, I don't actually want to do this. So yes, that's why it's never getting done. It's not because of time or other priorities. This just doesn't work for me anymore. So
absolutely.
Well, thank you so much. I could talk to you for ages.
That's all right. It's been great. Thank you.
So if people want to know more about your specific work, and because I know you give loads of checklists and handouts and great stuff, where can they find more details?
Yeah, so if you head over to my blog, it's simpleandcontentedlife.com, and on there you'll find all the blog posts. All of the blog posts are geared towards reducing overwhelm, taking back control, and different tips on well-being and things like that are all collectively help you to simplify life and make life less stressful and more enjoyable. And there's lots of downloads on there as well. I'm in the process of setting up my resource library. So in the next couple of days, there'll be a landing page that you can go to, pop your email address in, and you'll get instant access with a password that will give you access to all of the printables. And I've got things on there like gratitude journal and a daily planner, an ebook for kickstarting creating a life you love, and an accompanying workbook to help you put all of the tips into practice. So there's all kinds of resources in there that can really help you to just slow things down and take back control. So yeah, head over, and it'd be great to see you on there.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
It's been great. I'm very welcome. Thank you.
Got there in the end.
Yeah, love technology.
And yeah, to everyone else, head over to Sarah's website, because as you go through acknowledging that you need to simplify, the next question is always, you know, what do I do and how do I do it? And there are some pretty brilliant resources on there. So thanks a lot, Sarah.
Great, thank you.
A link to your blog as well in the comments of the Facebook post.
Brilliant, that'd be great. Thank you.
Because I know sometimes when you have the long website names, you're like, was there an
What was it again? Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
That's all right.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye, everybody.